Now, from I guess it was Georgia, you went on to Memphis, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What was Memphis Star story like?
It was very interesting too. I mean, back in the old days, there was like 28 territories. I started late '79, but I tell everybody '80 because it was right there.
Right.
And I went. I was naive. My parent, my dad was a gynecologist, so he was gone a lot. My mom was. She just said, you kids just do what you want to stay out of trouble. So I wasn't really given a lot of life lessons. Well, this 21-year roller coaster I've had in the wrestling business has been one life lesson, and it tells you about the real world. I went to Memphis. I drove to Nashville. I didn't know anybody. I didn't have any family in the business. I had no friends. I had Steve Muslin, who ended up, getting bad on drugs and car wreck, and he was out. But I made friends and I made contacts and I worked hard, and it wasn't a pain in the ass. I did what I was asked to do, and I loved what I was doing. I think people knew that. So I drive to Nashville. Don't know where I'm going. I just get a hotel. I got like $300 on me, and I don't remember. I think I started like in Jackson, Tennessee, or something. Went to the building, and I think the first night was with Coco, and they ended up having a great run. Fabulous ones.
This is like 83, 84 maybe?
Before that, like 82.
Okay.
I was there end of 81, all of 82, and all of 83 because I went to work for Bill Watts in January of 84.
What was Jerry Lawler like at the time?
He is funny beyond belief, but he was also a part owner.
Right, with Jerry.
And I think I like Jerry now a lot, and he and I we've been round and round, and I don't like airing dirty laundry a lot because it's over with, but he and Jerry Jarrett both owned that territory together, and Lawler pulled a power play, and Steve Keirn and I think Dundee were the only guys that went with Jerry Jarrett. Everybody else was going to split the territory and go with Lawler. And I think from that, there was some bitterness. I didn't know. I know the guy that brought me was the person to whom I would be loyal,
right,
which was Jarrett. And they patched it up and they got things back together. But, I think I stayed another year after that.
What are your memories of teaming with Bobby Eaton?
Bobby Eaton, teaming up with him was great because he did everything. He knew how to wrestle. He knew the psychology. He'd been doing it we were probably 27 back then. I'm probably 3 or 4 years older than Bobby. He was probably 25 and been in the business 12 years. I mean, he is phenomenal. And he was the first guy that was like 220 pounds diving off the top rope. And then every single night, a lot of guys go, well, guys do that now. Well, we did it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, twice Saturday, twice Sunday, every week.
I was going to ask you what was the travel schedule like back then.
Well, we didn't get many days off. And Bobby, my best run was working against Bobby because he was so good. And we always laugh because you can't understand a word he says. But he's real eccentric. Like if you breathe on him, he gets upset. He's claustrophobic. If you don't like to cover his mouth, he freaks out. He's just a great guy, and it was one of the good guys.
What about Steve Keirn?
Steve was the guy who saw something in me when nobody else did, and told me a few times, shut up, put your head on straight, watch, learn. But they teamed me and Jacques Rougeau up in Memphis one time, and we got into a little argument. And we were arguing the whole ride back. Well, Keirn, we had to go to the bathroom. It was 2 a.m.
Right.
Deserted road. We pull off to go to the bathroom. Keirn left. So my bags are sitting in the,
Just as a reb, you mean?
Yeah. And he didn't come back. So me and Rougeau at 2 a.m. are probably 60 miles away from Nashville. Keirn thought we were squabbling before.
Right.
We were really squabbling then.
How did you make it back anyway? Just
Ricky Morton's dad picked us up.
Okay.
Thank God, or I'd still been walking.
Who else was down there at the time? Was this Jimmy Hart and Jim Cornette, and I think Adrian Street was down there at the time?
That was for Watts.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't see Adrian Street in Tennessee.
Okay.
He might have been there, and Dundee brought him in. But I know that we had when we were in Tennessee, the Fabulous Ones had been developed. The Midnight Express, Cornette. Lawler, of course, and Lawler would bring people in and out. That was, I can't remember. I hope I'm not insulting anybody by not remember, but a lot of brain damage since then.
Why did you leave Memphis?
To be brutally honest, I won't lie. I had a paternity suit. And I left because I didn't want to face my responsibility. Right. It was in January of 1984. And the other half of that is yes, I paid my back child support, and I am paying $365 a month for a child I've never seen.
Actually, it's Doug. I don't want to tell you.
I don't think I could do anything that good.
Oh, thanks.
Well, now from from there you went back to Memphis, I believe. Was it Memphis? For a brief period of time? Mm-hmm. It was world class then? Okay. 97
or 87. I went to World Class Championship Wrestling. Had a house in Dallas. We were told by Crockett's and all them, our big base is going to be Dallas. So I bit the bullet and bought my first home. My wife loved it, and I think either got canned or quit or something like almost immediately. It's the story of my life. What are your memories of working with Chris Adams again down there? It was fine. Chris was great. He was a good worker, but the territory was like way down. These guys had enjoyed this incredible run where it was the Freebirds and, Von Erichs, and they just had sellouts everywhere, and they worked like 4 days a week, and the longest trip was 70 miles. And they were huge stars in Texas. And then all of a sudden, like anything else, the business cycles up, and then it cycles back down. And they were trying to turn it back around and worked with Chris, and he was great. He just got his face caved in by somebody. I think he went to do a leapfrog, or the guy went to leapfrog him, and as the guy jumped, his knee hit Chris in the face and knocked his teeth out, broke his nose. So half the matches we wrestled, he had a catcher's mask on, right, which improved his look. I mean, a lot. No, it's just hard to work with a guy like that because, what do you do? What was Fritz Von Erich like? I never met him. Really? I worked for him for 6 months and never met him. What were the rest of the Von Erich boys like? Were they wild, out of control? Kerry Von Erich was the most gifted. Like, if I was going to be born somebody, I would have been like to have been born him. Because, he was jacked up and big and confident and good teeth and good skin and great body. And, I don't want to bury the guy in a bad way, but, he had girls hanging all over him, from Playboy chicks to... And I don't know if he was married, and I don't care. I just hated his guts because he had broads lined up. And I'm like, why not me? And then, he got out there and took his shirt off and looked even better. I was like, God, I hate this guy. But then again, I'm still alive, and so, everything has a price tag. Right. But he was just this huge guy. Wrists were like this big. He couldn't have been a wrestler. He couldn't, it's just big and strong. You could feel how strong he was. And I didn't know him at all. He didn't talk much. He just kind of did his own thing and came and went as he pleased. Kevin, on the other hand, I had a little program with. Kevin was the owner's son who was used to being featured. And I was a guy who just didn't feel like featuring Kevin sometimes. Right. Because Kevin, because of his status, I think, and I think he's probably changed now because things have changed. But he would take liberties and beat me up and hit me, and the psychology of the match would be just, I'm like, what? But he was the owner's kid, and back, I was so broke, I finally just said, the hell with it. And I whacked him back, and, we would have spirited discussions in the back before and after, and we'd get through the match and then probably fight more in the back than we did in front of the people. And then we did this, I was telling you about the pull apart we did at in Fort Worth. It was me and I think Kevin, and then Iceman came down, and then here comes Kerry. And I've been in a car wreck that almost killed me. I've been in easier plane crashes than I was that pull apart, because Kevin Von Erich hit me so hard, so many times in the head. My head felt like a golf ball. I just had divots out of it from him hitting me. When it was over with and they got us apart, I was pissed. I went to the back, and I was shaking. I've never won an argument. I've never won a fight, but I was going to light him up. Boy, if he comes around the corner, I'm going to sucker punch him. I just mistimed it, and he hugs me and goes, "Thanks, man." That's the way you got to do it in front of the camera. I was like, oh, God. So that's great. Yeah. What are your memories of teaming with Iceman and King Parsons? We didn't really team that much. We just did that little thing. He was a good guy, entertaining, good look. He was a nice guy, just quiet, just did his own thing. Funny, good promo, though. Real good promo. And I never seen a guy throw his ass up on somebody and knock somebody down. I said, Sweet. If he's taking bumps and, lifting people, your back will be good forever. But he's a good guy.
Watch thousands of exclusive shoot interviews right now on TitleMatchNetwork.com.